All right. Hey, hello, everyone. I know I don't have anyone live. I had posted about the Hangout on Sunday, and I was setting a deadline to see if we got any questions submitted. And I realized it's the holidays, and I figured everyone's kind of too busy to have any questions right now. So many things going on, and I know I'm right there with you. So I figured that even if I was going to have the Hangout this evening, that I would still record a couple things that I wanted to say and just let everyone just kind of get some guidance going forward and some new things coming up and go from there. Um, so if you did have questions and you didn't get a chance to submit them, please save them. And as soon as I post for when the next Hangout will be on Sunday, you can go ahead and post them then, and I'll make sure I cover them. One thing I do want to mention real quick is that all of the questions and answers that I've provided through video format in 2014, I am compiling into a short PDF ebook that will have like a table of contents. So if you want to go back through something I've already answered and see what the answer was, it'll have a table of contents, and you can just kind of skip to that answer rather than going through, I guess, what's like 15, 16 videos that are like 20 plus minutes at this point, and that's kind of tedious. So I'm going to put them for you in text, and I'll make sure everyone gets a copy out there. I'm going to put it through my website and just kind of go from there. So real quick, I wanted to mention that today I took the exam to become an ACE certified personal trainer, and I passed. So I'm really happy about that. I'm ready to go celebrate. It was a really long exam, but I did pass, so that's awesome. Real quick, like I said, I know there weren't any specific questions that were asked. I do want to talk about two specific things. The first is the adherence tracker that everyone now has access to. So in your trackers, there is an adherence rating, and you could submit one for a day or for a week. I'd actually prefer, if possible, if you don't mind, submitting it daily. The adherence is regarding your nutrition tracking. So as you complete a day, go ahead and reflect back and look at the rating scale and reflect how you did as far as the adherence goes. Just to go over the scale real quick, a 0 is you're probably about where your maintenance calories are. For most people, and this is a generalization, your maintenance calories are somewhere where your target calories, like plus or minus, your maintenance calories are what your goal calories are for whatever program I have you on, plus 300 to 500 calories or so. It's somewhere around that area. So you may not have made any particular progress as far as calorie deficit, but maintenance means your weight is staying the same for the most part. So it's not a step backwards. You've done the best you can. It's not really worth worrying about. Just continue to move forward. No big deal. Going backwards from 0. -1 is you were over on your calories by more than 300. Not a big deal. It happens. Not a problem. So you're still probably within the realm of that's not that big of a deal. A -2 would be a binge or diet deviation, but half as bad as it could have been, meaning you caught yourself. You may have exceeded your calories by a large margin, but you said, this isn't good. And you kind of recognized that you needed to stop and what you were doing. And then that kind of gives you pause. -3 is all out binge, that, you had a bunch of cookies and it led to a bunch of cake and it led to ice cream and alcohol and all that stuff. And it just kind of was like a cascade of not good. So that's the worst you can get. Going in the opposite direction, 1 is you did pretty good. You were below on your calories, but you weren't really hitting your macro targets. Things were a little bit iffy. 2 is where I'd expect most people to be most of the time, including myself. The holidays are a little bit of an exception. Like I said, I kind of, all the strategies I've given to you guys are ones I use myself. And my adherence is at best a 2 for most of the holidays. Some days I've actually hit a -3 once or twice, but that's fine. That's normal. It's really about, I don't expect perfection out of anyone because I'm not perfect myself. And it's more about what would you have done without these tools at your disposal, without these different systems to put in place to kind of help you. It's a comparison of what you would have done. I know in the past, I would have probably had an all-out binge from Christmas Eve to after New Year's Day. It doesn't happen to me anymore. And, I've given you some of the same ways to deal with that with what you have. And this adherence system is something that I'm trying myself that's new for me. So I'm having you all try it as well because I think it'll help me too. Because I wasn't perfect. I think I can improve myself this holiday season, and my holiday season isn't over. So I kind of stopped in the middle and said, I'm not doing as good as I'd hoped. I'm not doing bad, but I can do better. So I'm going to use this system. So back to the scale. 2 is where I'd expect most people to be on most days when there's nothing major going on. The major difference between 2 and 3 is you're pretty good on your macros, but you're not close to like your protein goal. Or if you weren't weighing something and you were just kind of eyeballing it, like, oh, I went to a restaurant and I ordered pasta and it looked like a half a cup of pasta, I guess. That has you thinking about it more. You're probably pretty close, but it could have been off. There could have been, butter in the pasta. So you're probably not exact on your targets, but it's better than what you would have done if you weren't trying to eyeball guess a portion using a portion guide, like a fist is 4 ounces, things like that. And then a 3 would be perfect. Everything you ate today, you pretty much measured it with a food scale, and you're well within your targets, and it's what you'd consider a perfect day. Perfect days are going to be few and far between, and that's fine. This is not like a scale that indicates you did good or bad. It's just a rating as to how you did for possible reflection as to how to do better. Let's see. So I wanted to start using this with everyone because, anytime you have a misstep, the idea is to reflect on it and see what you could do differently. This kind of gives an objective rating to something that's not usually something that's objective. So now you can reflect with a rating and compare occurrences back and forth. What I'd like to do is once a couple people have started using this and they're used to using it, what I'd like to do is in the future, add on to it and make it something that's not only are you rating your adherence for what you did like yesterday or in the past, it's a projected or expected adherence. Like this is what your goal is for tomorrow. My goal for tomorrow is to have an adherence of 3, and I'm going to hit my protein and calorie goals right on the nose. I'm going to weigh everything. Awesome. I'm going to go for a 3. So then after that day happens, you can reflect back and see what is the projected, what did I want to do, and what did I end up doing? So that's just another way to kind of add like an objective measure to how you're doing. And it's a little bit more something quantifiable than just saying reflect upon it. And I think this may help you because I'm pretty sure it's so far helping me. So that's kind of why I wanted to make that available to other people and kind of see how it goes. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that with New Year's coming up, I'm sure that everyone has some New Year's resolutions in mind, and New Year's is kind of like a time where people get momentum and they want to go right into 2015 incredibly strong and hit the ground running and use that momentum. So I would say please do use that momentum. I'm not a big fan of resolutions because most people pick goals or resolutions that are too far away. They're not really achievable, and it really kind of sets you up for failure. But I understand that there's a momentum there. I have it myself. I'm really excited for 2015 and to kind of make it a better year than 2014. Not that there was anything wrong with 2014, but it's kind of the whole fever about a new year. So let's use that, and please utilize me as a resource to help you with that. So as you know, for most of you, my approach is generally in the middle of the road. It's something that's not extreme, even though most of the things you've seen related to classes and coaching is extreme. It's just a marketing moniker. So I'm a middle of the road type of guy because it's something you need to be able to live with all the time or it's not going to be sustainable. So I wouldn't mind if some of you kind of were comfortable with the middle of the road and stable, so that if you want to turn things up a notch and go a little bit beyond your comfort zone and kind of go past it a little bit, let me know and we can talk about it and we can kind of push a little bit and use some of that New Year momentum and see if we can kind of push you towards your goals a little bit faster. Now, that's with the express understanding that you're going to return to that middle of the road once you've kind of burned through that New Year's momentum, rather than return to your old habits, the bad habits. So if you think that describes you, someone that can kind of go on afterburn and then return to the middle of the road good habits we have as a foundation, please let me know. I plan on doing the same thing with my own coach, and I figure it would be a shame if you have a desire to go away from the middle of the road a little bit to kind of waste that. So please let me know, and that's something we can talk about, and we'll go from there. So with that said, I think that's the 2 things I really wanted to talk about specifically. Let me know if you have any feedback regarding the adherence system or questions about it. And let me know again if you wanted to kind of talk about turning things up a notch for the New Year's. And then, like I said, as long as you feel like you have a steady foundation to kind of return to the base of the middle ground, let me know. So with that said, I hope everyone has a safe and happy New Year's, and everyone take care, and I'll talk to you soon.